Sagir.
Right. So for you, it's more.
Perek Reish Sagez.
It's not complex or regional piece. It's not that.
Yeah, so it's the next pasuk in the Torah, right after Zorah, Chaim, and Keva. It says in Dvorim Perek Tes, "V'zeh yeh mishpat hakohanim me'eso am me'eso v'chel zevach im shem v'sev v'nosan hakohen azroya v'elchoyim v'akeva." And the next pasuk is Reshis Digoncha Tiroshecha v'Yitzarecha, which is referring to Truma.
That the valuation.
Which again, Midoraisa, Truma is only by Tirosh v'Yitzar. So Reshis Digoncha Tiroshecha, and then the Reshis Geiz Tzaynecha Titanloi. The beginning of your sheep sharing is Geiz Tzaynecha Titanloi. You should give it to him. Why? Because Hashem chose the Kayan from all the other Shvatim. So therefore you have to support him even not only food-wise, but also for clothing. So Reshis Hagez Noig Ba'aretz U'Chutz La'aretz, both in Eretz Yisrael and in Chutz La'aretz. We're going to end up seeing that there's a shita that holds that it's not in Chutz La'aretz, and really that's the heter for today. It's brought down in the Ramah that today people are makel because in Chutz La'aretz, because Rabbi Eliyahu holds that in Chutz La'aretz we're pater. But our Mishnah for sure holds Chutz La'aretz Yechayev also b'fnei habayis v'shalei b'fnei habayis, whether the Beis Hamikdash is around or not. B'chulin avalei b'mukdashim. Okay. Choymer b'zroya v'lochayim uv'keva. There is a chumrah by Zorah Chaim and Keva more stringent than Reish Saget. That's by all types of kosher. By bakar and tzayin, right? By both cattle and sheep. B'meruba uv'mut. Whether you have a lot or you have a little, even if you have one animal, you chayav to give the Zorah Chaim and Keva. Reish Saget it's only by kvasim. It's only by sheep, and it's only if you have a bunch. It's not if you have one, you're putter. The kamahu meruba says the Mishnah. How much is a lot? And how many sheep do you need to have in order to be chayav in Reish? I guess b'sham erim shtei rechelas 2. Shenemar yichayeh isha glas bakar ushtei tzayin. You see a reference to tzayin with number 2. Meaning that when it says tzayin, it means 2. So too, gaze tzayin nechati ten loy. Tzayin means 2. So no, chamesh. Nemar chamesh tzayin asuyos.
This place is the place.
Another different pasuk that Avigail brought.
Go around from therapist to therapist.
5 sheep. Okay. So machalik v'sham yisrael as to how many you need to be chayiv in Reish Yisrael. As Rabbi Daisa ben Harkness Omer chamesh v'chelas gozes mana upras. He says like this: if you have 5 sheep that their shearings, that each one of their shearings have a mana upras. Mana is just trying to say, meaning each one's a mana upras. Mana upras. Some hold it means that you need 2 manas in the pras, but the Rashi explains that mana just means each one is a mana upras. So if each one you have 5 sheep, that each one yields a mana upras, which is a mana is 100. A mana is 100 dinars, and a pras is half of that, right? So it's 150 dinars, and at 25 slime, there are 25 slime in 1 mana, which means that there are 4 dinars in 1 selah, right? That's going to be important. But either
the worth or the weight? Is that a weight?
The weight. It's the weight of 100. The weight of one mana is 100 silver coins, and so the weight of 100 silver coins, is 1 mana. A mana pras is the weight of 150 silver coins, right? So if each sheep yields a mana pras, so then chayavas b'reish sagez. Chacham amrim chamesh v'chelas goes is kosher. Chacham say no, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever they yield, you're going to be chayav. The common nice and like, okay, so that's the question of how many sheep you have and how much yield there is, but still, how much do you give him per shearing? Mishkal chomesh slime, be Yehuda. mishkal of 5 slime b'Yehuda. 5 slime is 20 dinars. B'Yehuda, shehein eser slime b'Galil. In Galil, they had smaller slime, so it's 10 of the Galil slime. So it ends up being, according to Rav Dosei ben Hyrcanus, if you have, if you have 150, times 5, if you have 1.5 times 5 sheep, is going to be, what's 1.5 times
750.
5? It's 750 dinars, right? And then if you have to give if you divide that by 4, you have the amount of slime. But you only have to give 5 slime. I did the cheshbon yesterday. It's 2.6%. And you basically only have to give 2.6% of the shearings, according to Rav Dosei ben Hyrcanus. Okay. Miloiven v'loitzai. Meluban v'loitzai. You have to give clean, meaning you can't obviously count the dirt. If there's dirt in the shearings, it's right, and that's going to weigh. It's going to be cheshbon in the when you measure it. So therefore, it has to be clean. V'loi, not dirty. Why do you need this amount? Why is it chamesh slime? To make, that's like the least amount of wool you need to make a beged cotton, right? A small beged, and shenemar titan lo she'eba kedei matana. It has to be something substantial to be able to make something. That's what's called a matana, called an asina, and therefore you need to give chamesh slime, which can make a beged cotton. Lo yispik litnei lo achit savai. If you did not manage to give it to him until you already painted it, if you dyed it already, so you're potter. Rashi says because you're rekaineh b'shinui. You changed it, so that's like a gazlan, it's kind of ishinei. And then once you changed it, it's as if you ate it or damaged it. And in that situation, we learned from the previous parak that when you have mantis kuna that ate or damaged, you're potter because it's moment chain like tovim. That's what Rashi explains here. So the same thing would be true if you actually paint. If you dyed it, so then it's too late. You changed it. Libnoi v'leitzavai. However, if you cleaned it out, and it's white, and you didn't dye it, then you're chayiv. You're still chayiv. Okay. If you buy the shearings of a non-Jew, patur mereish sagez. The Gemara is going to learn that out from the pasuk. However, if you buy the shearings of your friend, if you tell him all the shearings of your sheep I want to buy, right? So im shir hamoicher, im shir. If he didn't buy everything, he left a little bit to the seller, to the person who owns the sheep, right? He left a little bit. He didn't buy everything. So then hamoicher chayav. The moicher is the one who's going to be chayav to give the reishis agez, right? Because he has a little bit left over, so we assume he left the matana by him. The chiyuv matana is going to stay by the moicher because we sort of have a chazaka that a person. As the Gemara says. Okay, we'll see how the Gemara explains this. But either way, shir ha-moicher, the moicher, we assume the moicher is the one who's responsible to give the reishis agez, and in what he left over to the moicher is what the moicher is going to give over. However, lo shir, if he sold every part, every sheep, all the wool, right? He didn't leave any wool for the seller, so then halekeach is chayav. Then avada he has to give the reishis agez. Hadu lo shnei minim. If the seller had 2 different species of sheep, shchufais or levanais, shchufais are more brown or black, whatever, levanais are white, and then mochal shchufais, he sold him the shchufais avalei levanais, and he didn't sell him the shearings of the white, or he sold him all the shearings of scharim avalei nekevais. So in that situation, zenais and la'atzma, zenais and la'atzma. There's a question over here: is that considered a shear? Right? We said if the moicher leaves anything over, so then it's the moicher's responsibility to give it, because we're assuming the moicher is going to give, right? The moicher left the reishis agez, the responsibility of the reishis agez, by him. So now the question is let's say I sold you an entire species of what I have, right? So then I was mishayir by me a little bit, right? Because I was mishayir the other species by me. Is that called a shear? Is that not called a shiur? So says the Mishnah, no, it's not called a shear because, yes, he left a certain species by him, but because he sold you the entire shchufais, all the brown ones, or all the white ones, or all the females, or all the schar, so in that situation, he didn't leave anything over from that type, and therefore the responsibility for the reish sagez of those sheep come from you.
Can you give from one animal to from another animal?
Yeah, probably. I'm just not sure how it works in terms of flocks, like, because over here it sounds like they're each one has its own chiyuv on its right, the chiyuv on its own. It's not. I'm not sure. But hopefully the Gemara will discuss it. Right. It's also in the previous cases, if he sold him a few sheep, right, and he was mishayir, right. The moicha was mishayir a little bit for himself, right. So does that mean each one's chayiv on his own? It's not. That's not the way it works. The Gemara says only the moicha is chayiv, right. So what connects the flock of sheep in order to say there's only one chiyuv over here as opposed to two chiyuvim, right? Over here, when it's two flocks, we say that each chayiv on its own, right? But in the previous case, if the moicha was mishayir, right? So then only the moicha is chayiv. So that means that the lekeach, it doesn't create a new mechayiv. Okay, I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, but mukdashim. Says the Gemara. So we said that it's not noyig, it's only noyig b'chulin and not b'mukdashim. Only by chulin, by regular animals, they're chayv and reish sagez, not a kachim. My time, Allah, says the Gemara, why by mukdashim does not apply? Amakra tzayin necha, reishis geiz tzayin necha, titan loy. So tzayin necha, v'loy tzayin hektish. Only if it's yours, but if it belongs to hektish, then you're potter. Says the Gemara, time because Rahman tzayin necha. It's only because it says tzaynecha. That's what you're assuming. Only because it says the pasuk halav hochi. But if we didn't have the pasuk hava amina kachim chayavim v'reishi sagez, I would think that even kachim are chayav v'reishi sagez, and only because of the pasuk. And that's the way you're setting up the sugya here. Says the Gemara, in what situation would kachim be chayav v'reishi sagez? Halav b'nei gizaninu. You're not allowed to shear them. You're not allowed to know from them. You're not allowed to take for all kachim, you're not allowed to take them and shear them and use the sheep. You're not allowed to shear the bechar, which has kedushas bechar, but it's true to any type of kachim that is kedushas, that's going to be a korban, right? You're not allowed to take the shearings, right? So why would I think you have to give reishis sagez? There's no reason for me to think of reishis sagez b'chlal. Says the Gemara, even kachim is be'ach. If you're talking about that the animal that's kachim mizbeach, which means it itself will be going on the mizbeach, it itself is kedusha saguf. So you're right, it will be also achov mayaskin and the kachim be'ed kabayis. We're talking about kachim be'ed kabayis, and in that situation, when the animal itself isn't going on the mizbeach, it doesn't have kedusha saguf, it has just kedusha smaman. So over there, if you would shear it, I would say, you have to give reishis sagez kamash on the pasuk nan. Says the Gemara, v'amar Rav Lazar. Didn't Rav Lazar say kachim be'ed kabayis? Even kachim be'ed kabayis asurim b'gizav avoda midrabanan. Right. So since they're asurim b'gizav avoda midrabanan,
avoda midrabanan the teretz is midraisa.
Midrab.
He says midraisa is asurim b'gizav avoda.
So because it's also, so he says it's even asurim b'gizav avoda, right? So therefore you still shouldn't need the pasuk. Says the Gemara midrabanan. Sal kedayta chamina, I might think hoyel midoraisa b'nei giza ninhu. Since midoraisa they are b'nei giza, right? And it's only midrabanan that you're not allowed to shear it. However, heicha de gazazle, when you actually do shear them, so leisiv le, then you should give it. So therefore, kamash malan the pasuk not. Okay. Says the Gemara, v'akadish la. What do you mean? It's hektish. And since it's hektish, how could it be that you give it to the kohen? Right? It belongs to hektish, meaning the shearings. Okay, very nice. Right? You found the case that bet kabayis, that avada midoraisa, you could give the shearings. Midoraisa, you could take the shearings on the drabanan, and therefore, if you do shearings, maybe I would think you should give reishis sagez. Kamash Malon, the pasuk tzaynecha, no tzaynecha, and not of hektish. Right now the Gemara says, but still, we still should need the pasuk because these shearings they belong to hektish. It's kach v'dek habayis. It's mum and hektish, right? Why would I think you should give it to a kain? How could you give it to a kain? It belongs to hektish. Says the Gemara, I would think you should redeem it v'leisivlei, and you should redeem it, give the money to hektish, and then give the shearings to a kain. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Always for when you're redeeming kachim, you need ha'amod v'aracha. When you have a behema that you're a makdish, it needs to be able to stand there, and the kohen evaluates it as to how much it's worth, and then you could redeem it. And over here, once you share the sheep, it can't be standing, right? So the Gemara says it can't technically fit into the technicalities of what's needed in order to be nifte. Says the Gemara, it works out according to the Manda Amar who says that by Kachet and Begabayis and Chanami you don't need Hamad Varacha, only by Kachet Mizbeach. Elamanda Amar Hayu, according to the Manda Amar, that even by Kachet Begabayis you do need Hamad Varacha. We're back to our kasha. Says the Gemara, Michael Memar, Amar Rabbi Patish, Mishur Rav Yana Yachav and Makdish Behemtoi LeBedekabayis Chutz Migizoi Seha. The case we're talking about over here, if you were Makdish, you're Behem LeBedekabayis, which means that it's still no Kedushas Zakuf, it's only monetary value. But you say, Bedafka Chutz Migizoi Seha, I don't want the sharings to be hektish. And I might think ligzois v'leisivlei, since the shearings are b'chlal don't belong to hektish at all, because when I originally was makdish it, I totally excluded the shearings. Therefore, it's not kadosh. And I would think, so now ligzois v'leisivlei, you have to be geizes and give to the kohen reishis agez, and therefore Amar Krot tzayincha comes the pasuk and says tzayincha v'loy tzayin shel hektish. Says the Gemara, ihachi kachem izbeach nami. So if so, by kachem izbeach nami. If you say I want to be makdish this animal, except I want to be makdish this animal for a carbon, actual kachim mizbeach, but I don't want to be makdish the shearings. Right? Says the Gemara, kachshi. No, that you're still not allowed to do it because it weakens the animal. So an animal that's going into mizbeach, you're not allowed to weaken, right? Because you're not allowed to decrease the value of any animal that's going onto the mizbeach, right, as a carbon. So, therefore, you would not be able to be geizes. It says the Gemara, "Kachem b'tekabayis nami kachshi." Okay, so then even if you're diminishing the value, so then also by kachem b'tekabayis you're not allowed to do that. Says the Gemara, "The Omer chutz migizu k'chisha." Okay, so what you said? Chutz migizu k'chisha. You said since it's my money, I don't have to donate it at all, right? It's all totally on because I want, so I can donate whatever I want. So I'm saying chutz migizu k'chisha. Says the Gemara. Kachem Mizbeach Nami, so then it could also be Kachem Mizbeach. And the Omar, if he says Chutz Migizu Krisha, he wants to be makdish this animal as a carbon, except for the shearings, except for whatever weakens it. Says the Gemara, Afilu Hachi Pashta Kedusha Bekula. Even so, the Kedusha is Pashit Bekula. But by Kachem Mizbeach, there's a thing that if you're makdish a part of it, right? So the kedusha spreads to the entire animal, and you can't limit it. You can't contain the kedusha into a certain part over here. So if you're makdish an animal, it's going to inevitably spread to the giza and the krisha, right? So now you can't limit it, and therefore in that situation, there would be no way I could say that the gaze would go to the kohen. So therefore, for kachem mizbeach, I don't need a pasuk. We know Tema says the Gemara. How do you know this thing? That it's pashta bekula. The kedusha is pashta bekula. Dam Rabbi Yossi v'aloi b'mukdashim. Rabbi Yossi says, haloi b'mukdashim, by mukdashim ha'omer ragla shalzu oila kula oila. If someone says that the leg of this animal is oila, the din is that it's kula oila. And Rav Meir, who argues with him, I feel Rav Meir the Omar ain't kula oila. Even Rav Meir, who argues that the whole animal does not become oila hani, but that's only if you're makdish a leg, which is davar she'ein and neshamat luyuba. If you cut it off, the animal could still live. Aval hikdish davar she'ein neshamat luyuba. Even Rav Meir agrees that it's kaddish. It means both according to Rav and Rav Meir, all the Tanaim agree that if you have something very, very substantial that's kaddish, then it spreads to the entire body. So too over here for sure, it'll spread. Rava Amar. Rava has a whole different teretz. The makdish giza atzma. Rava saying, what the Mishnah is talking about is your makdish the giza atzma. Right? So salkadat the chamina ligza is velifrak. I would think like we said before, you should be goizes and then redeem it. V'leisivlei, amarkra geis tzay nechatitin lai, meaning the animal isn't hektish, so he takes care of all the problems of hektish really. All he was makdish the gaze, right, which is going to have kedushas damim now, and then we say, I might think you have to donate reishis agez k'mash malon geis tzay nechatitin lai. No, he has a different draw. So he says, "Gein tzanechatitin loy, misha ein mechusar ela gziza unesina." The pasuk says you have to shear it and then give it to the kohen. But if there's another thing in the middle, if there's another part of if there's another process that you have to go through in order to give to the kohen, then that's excluded from the pasuk. Yotza zeh shemechusar gziza pedia unesina. If it's hekdesh, right, then you need to also be paida. And we see this type of drasha a few times that when the Torah says over a process, if it doesn't fit the exact details, if you have to add another detail, so then it's not going to be included. So over here, if you're makdash it, it's not going to be chayv and rishis agez because you have to do a deal. Now Rashi says that there's no issue with hamad v'aracha. Right? Before we said there's a problem. How is the sheep standing? Right, in order to be paid the kachim, even by the kabbalah, according to one opinion. It needs to be able to have ha'amoda, the animal has to stand, right? So says Rashi, that only applies when you're makdish the actual animal. Then the animal and everything that comes out of the animal has to be standing in front of the kohen. But over here, if you originally were only makdish something that can't stand, that does not need to stand in front of the kohen in order to be evaluated. If you're makdish a cup of coffee, right, it's fine. It's not. Okay. Okay. So in short, the Gemara explains the Mishnah that said that it's not noig in mukdashim. What are they chetimtas b'chlal? Like Mishnah like it's could b'chlal be noig in mukdashim. So the Gemara explained that and said you learn from Tzayincha to teach you not hekdesh, only your Tzayin. And Rava had a different approach. Rava learned he did not use the word Tzayincha. He learned it from the fact that you have to add another part to the process over here. Instead of not just shearing and giving, you have to also be paid, so therefore that's excluded. So Rava really doesn't use the word Tzayincha. So the Gemara wants to know now. So what would the word tzayincha be used for? Ela tzayincha l'may asa, right? According to Rava, he doesn't use the drasha for tzayincha. So from tzayincha, so what does he use? The Cheditanya says the Gemara, behema sashut fin chayv v'rishis agez. Tanakama says that if you have a partnership in the sheep, it's chayv v'rishis agez. Rabbi Eloi paiter. Rabbi Eloi holds its pater. My time, Rabbi Eloi asks the Gemara Makra. So he learns from Tzayincha means only if it belongs to Tzayincha, belongs to a Yachid, it belongs to Shutfim, to partners or Takapater, and Rishis Agez, and that according to Rava would be what we learn from the word Tzayincha. It says the Gemara of Rabbanan, what are the Rabbanan who hold that even Behemoth Shutfin, even if it belongs to Shutfin, you're Chayv and Rishis Agez, what would they do? If there's a partnership with a non-Jew, and only if there's a partnership with a non-Jew, then they're masking that you're not chayv n'reishis agez. Rabbi Eloi shutvus avit kechavim minol. It says the Gemara, how does he know that shutvus avit kechavim is potter? Right. So this kasha is funny a little bit because if he holds any shutvus as potter, so of course shutvus avit kechavim. Right. So I think what the Gemara means to ask is, how does he know to jump a step and say that tzayincha is b'mayit shutvus of Yisrael? Right. Maybe it's just to be b'mayit avit kechavim. Right. So must be he knows already that Shutvus Avit Kechavim is potter, right? And now he's willing to go the next step and say even a regular Shutvus. So here, where does he know that first step from? That Reishis Agez is v'shor potter by Shutvus Avit Kechavim. Nafgalei meReishis Degor. He learns from the beginning of the pasuk. The beginning of the pasuk says Reishis Degoncha. It's talking about Truma. But over there, Degoncha he learns it has to belong to you. V'loi Shutvus Avit Kechavim. So from the beginning of the pasuk already, we know that when we discussed Truma, we excluded anything that has Shutvus Avit Kechavim. And that will apply to the seif of the pasuk also. And now, why does it have to say again tzayincha? Right? It's not to be ma'at shutvus avit kechavim because that we know from the beginning of the pasuk. It's going to be ma'at the next step of regular shutfin, even shutfin in Israel. Says the Gemara of Rabbanan, they hold no reishis hifsika inyan. they hold you can't learn from the beginning of the pasuk because it says Reishis it's two separate clauses in the Mishnah. It says Reishis again, so therefore it's hifzik again. You can't learn from the beginning of the pasuk, and therefore the end of the pasuk is independent, and you have to start with the lower chiddush, which is Shutas Avik Kachavim. Verbaloi Vav Hodar Arvei.
That seems to leave the Rabbana with the Gancha, which is a miyud. So leaves them up in the air. What do they do with it? They're not using it for the Avik. That's insane.
Right.
So what do they do with the Gancha?
What are they going to learn from the Gancha? They're going to learn to be Mimayat Shutas Avik Kachavim.
So what do they do with Zayncha?
Oh, what do they do with Zayncha at the end? I would assume also Shutas Avik Kachavim. They hold that it's Hifsikoinian, right? And they hold you can't learn from one from the other.
Right.
So therefore you need both sort of. You need one for the Gancha and one for Zayncha. One for Truma and one for Reishis Aged.
Because
they hold Hifsikoinian, yeah. So Rabban and Reishis Hifsikoinian, therefore you need both. Or Beloi holds no Vav Hadar Arve. The Vav of Virashis, right, brought it back together and now said everything you could learn it from Truma also. So the Rabbanan answering back, right? Why do you need Reishis to be mafsik and then Virashis to put them together? Just don't say if you want them to be together, put them together. Why do you need Reishis? Why do you say it at all? Rabbi Eliyahu answers, "Id the hekdushas dam." Says no. Rabbi Eliyahu says the reason why the pasuk separates it is because Reishis Agez is kedushas damim, the high Truma is kedushas haguf. So therefore, pasuk lahu the Torah wanted to be mafsik. The natural thing would be to be mafsik v'hadar arvi lahu, and then after that with the vav they were ma'arav it. Alright, so according to Rabbi Eliyahu, the vav teaches you that everything is together, and therefore from the Reish of the Krah you know already Shutas Avik Kachavim is pater, and therefore the Seifa is teaching you even a regular Shutas. Chachamim say no, it's Hifsikoinian, right? And therefore you need both independent drashas to teach you Shutas Avik Kachavim, and you have no drasha to teach you that even regular Shutas. Says the Gemara V'Iba Yiseima, or we could say different pshat. Shutas Avik Kachavim b'Truma, Rabban L'Chivim Michayev. Meaning, what do you want to tell me? You want to tell me according to why the Rabbanan hold. Why do the Rabbanan not learn from the beginning of the pasuk? You should learn from the beginning of the pasuk already that Shutas Avik Kachavim is pater by Truma, so to Reishis Agez, and then you'll be able to go the next step, right? So it says the Gemara, no, the Chachamim B'chlal hold by Truma that a Shutfas of a guy doesn't pater. There's nowhere to learn from, right? You want to learn from Reishis Agez from where? From Truma? They don't darshan the Gancha to pater if you have a field that a guy is a shutaf and they don't hold your pater from Truma. Even in that case, you are pater, so you can't learn Reishis Agez. There's nowhere to learn it from. So shutfas they hold Iba Yisema shutfas Avik Kachavim b'Truma Rabbanan Mechayev. They are Mechayev. Where do we see such a thing? The Tanya Yisrael Avik Kachavim. If you have a Jew and a non-Jew, shalakhu sada b'shutfas. They both bought a sada together. Now, what is the halacha? It's tevel v'chulin me'uravin zebazeh divrei Rebbe. According to Rebbe, it's all mixed up. Everything is because the guy and the Jew all own everything together over here, right? And therefore, every piece of wheat that you cut has tevel, which the Yisrael has to be mafresh, truma and maisers, right? And there's chulin, which belongs to the guy, right? So now, according to him, everything is mixed up. And there's a question. Rashi goes through the whole thing. And is there a possibility even to be mafresh or not? Right? Rashi says because you have to have truma bichal on an entire shiboila. There's a gatzadina of truma samaitzus as to how exactly you could be mafresh this. But either way, Rebbe holds that it's tevel v'chul miravin zebazeh. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer shel Yisrael chayiv shel Avik Kachavim pater. After they split the field, after they split it up, so then what ends up by the Yisrael is going to be chayiv, and by the Avik Kachavim is pater. Right? So Adkan says the Gemara loy pligi el demar. So one of them holds yesh breira. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel holds yesh breira, which basically the concept of yesh breira is what ends up by me. Lemafrei, we say that was by me all along. Right? So even though really it's just a monetary, it's like a fiscal partnership, right? It's not really it's in the value. It's not really in every single piece of wheat, right? But because it's a monetary partnership, so at the end of the day, you have equal partnership in every single piece of wheat. So therefore, it should be tevel v'chul mirav zebazeh. The concept of Yesh Breira says is that after we split it, we say lemafreya that what ended up being by me was mine all along, but ended up being by the guy was by the guys all along. So the guy is always pater, and I'm fully chayiv. Umar Savar Ein Breira, and then Rebbe holds Ein Breira, and therefore it's all Tevel V'chul Me'Rav and Zebozeh, and therefore it's more problematic. Yeah, but either way, Aval Shutvus David Gechavim Divrei Akol Chayeves. Everyone's asking that by Shutvus David Gechavim, you're chayav, right? So you see that even though a non-Jew is a shutuf, you're chayav. The question is how to take care of it, right? So therefore the Rabbanan can't learn Reishis Agez from Truma, B'chlal. Even if they hold Lo Yifsek Inyan, even if you're holding, you could learn from the beginning of the pasuk, but Truma B'chlal, it's still chayav. So therefore you can't learn from it. This concept comes up in Hilchos Pesach. If someone didn't sell his chametz to a guy, he's a shutuf to a guy. Right? It comes. So now it's also because a Yisrael owned it on Pesach, right? So it comes after Pesach. It's chametz shaval of Pesach. There's a shiloh whether you say yesh breira or not. There's a shagas aryeh that kids are the same thing. You could say that what ended up by the guy was always by the guy. What ended up by the yid was always by the yid. So you can buy it from the guy, right? If you don't say yesh breira, then you can't even buy it from the guy because what the guy has now was belonged to a yid on Pesach. Okay, so a similar thing comes up in Hilchos Pesach. Okay, V'ibay same like Gemara says, Tarvayu Rabbi Eliyahu mitzoyin chanafka. Both of them, according to Rabbi Eliyahu, are mitzoyin chanafka. Meaning, even if you want to say according to Rabbi Eliyahu, there was hifsika inyan. You can't learn from the beginning of the pasuk. Still, just from Reishis Gez tzoyin nechot and life, from the one pasuk where Reishis Gez, he learns both. Why? Because shutus david gechav in my timer. Why would you exclude the keves that's owned by a partnership of a Jew and a non-Jew, because it's not miyucha to one person. So too, if you have shutus of Yisrael, it's also not miyachdale. So to him, the idea is that since it's not owned by one person, it's not miyucha to one person. Therefore, you're going to be pater from Reishis Agez. It doesn't make a difference of a Jew or not. Rabbanan say back, what are you talking about? That's not the chilek. The idea isn't that it's not miyuchud to one person. It doesn't have to be miyuchud to one person. The idea is that if you're shutuf with a guy, he's a lav bar chiyuvahu. So then then we can understand that it'll pater the whole thing because he's pater. But Yisrael bar chiyuvahu. So why would you pater a partnership of Yisrael? So that's the machlokes between Rabbi Eliyahu and Chacham. Okay. Omar, now I'm not sure what they would do with the gancha. That would be a good kasha. Right now that we're saying that Taka don't use the gancha for whatever reason, so I'm not sure. Okay. Omar Rava, Moide Rabbi Eliyahu b'truma. Rabbi Eliyahu agrees by truma. Afal gav diksiv the gancha. Even though it says the gancha didach in the shut v'sloi, I might say the gancha that only if it belongs to you. But if it belongs to Shutfus not, right, it's Shutfus Yisrael, I might say that even Rabbi Eliyahu would say that by Truma, if you have a Shutfus of Yisrael, you're Pater. The Gemara says, Kasav Rachmana to Rumoy. And how do you know that even if you have two Shutfus in your Chai? Because the Pasuk mentioned it in a plural sense and said, to Rumoy Seichem, your Truma in plural, right? That means that even if it belongs to two people, they're Chayiv, right? So therefore, I cannot darshan the Gancha V'Lo Shel Shutfim. Ella the gancha lamli. Oh, so what do you need the gancha? So according to Rabbi would be lemutei shutfus over kechavim. Okay, and the Rabbanan would be mechayev, right? We would still have that kasha of what you need the gancha for. Okay, so chala, and the same thing would be applied by chala. But we're saying that even though Rabbi by Reishis Agez exempts behemas hashutfim, right? But by other places he is maskim. Chala. Afagav diksiv reishis, even though by chala, the chiyuv to be mafresh chala, it says the word reishis arisoi sechem, right? Ve'ikol emeimer nelaf reishis agez. I might say you should exer shava reishis agez, and pat mal lehalon de shutfas loy. Just like reishis agez, partnerships are pater. Afkan de shutfas loy. Also over here, a partnership. If two Yisraelim own this dough, they're going to be pater from chala because rachman arisoi sechem. Therefore, the Torah says, no, arisoi seichem, again, in the plural oifen, they teach you that even if it belongs to two people, you're chayiv. Ella, time says the Gemara, time of diksiv arisoi seichem, only because the pasuk says arisoi seichem, halav hochi, avamina neilef reishis agez, I would taka think you're pater. Adarab, neilef mitruma, why would you learn from reishis agez to exempt shutfim? We should learn from truma. Truma also says reishis, right? So you should learn from truma that you would be chayav by shutfin, right? It's mechatesi to learn from the Kolel, you should darshan l'chumra. So the Gemara Hanami, you're right. We would darshan l'chumra, and therefore chala would be chayiv in partnerships. So you don't need arisay sechem. So ela arisay sechem lamali kidei arisay sechem. What do you need it for? Kidei arisay sechem. That's to teach you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking in the Torah to the Dor HaMidbar, and he's telling you your dough. The amount that you have for dough. What's the amount that you used to have? When the man fell down, it says an oimer lagul goyles, an oimer per person. The dough, so the dough they would make out of the man that fell as an oimer, which is an oimer is an asir sa'efa. So a tenth of an ephah, one oimer is the amount of dough that you would have that would be chayiv and challah. If you have less than an asir sa'efa, if you have less than an oimer, which is around 43 beitzim, so. In that gematria challah, that's challah. So the way you would be, the way you would, if you have less than that, you're patur from. So the Torah is telling you that this is the amount of dough you need to b'chlal b'chayiv and challah. Okay, peya, same thing with peya. I forgot to see sadcha, even though it says sadcha. I might darshan didach only if it belongs to you. But didach in shutfas lay, if you have a soda that belongs to shutfin, they're part of a peg. Therefore, kasrachmana uvkutz rechem eskitzir artzachem. Again, plural that teaches you that applies even to partnerships. Ela sadcha lamali. So when you sadcha lemute shutf sargacham. Again, if you have a shutf with a guy, so you're pater from peya. B'chayra afagav diksiv kol b'chor. Even though it says kol b'chor sheyivalei bivkorcha uvtzoynecha. Right, only those takdish l'Hashem Elokecha, only if it belongs to one. I might think also if you have the emes hashut from your pater, didach in the shut v'sloi. I might also think shut from our pater because Rachmanu uvcharois b'karchem v'tzaynechem, again plural. Ella b'karchem v'tzaynechem lamali. So why is they say singular? That if you have a partnership with an ekechavim and then that animal is moili the b'char, that b'char is not kadosh. That's the first mission in b'charis. Mezuzah. The same thing by mezuzah. Afagav diksiv beisacha. It says uchsav tom al mezuzah beisacha ovisharecha. Right? Didach in shut v'slei. No, we're not going to dash in that way. Why? Because kasrachman and leman yirbu yimeichem v'yimei b'neichem. Right? That's the result of the mitzvah of mezuzahs that you're going to get. Long life, yimeichem v'neichem. Right? So that says the lashon plural. That teaches you even if a house is owned by a bunch of people, still having mezuzah. Ela beisacha l'may asa. So why does it say beisacha lashon yochelich the rabba damarabba derech bi'oscha? Beisacha yudarshin derech bi'oscha, the way you come in. And when you come in, most people stick their right foot first, so you have to put the mezuzah on the right side. Minei amin. Meiser, same thing by Meiser. Afagav diksiv Meiser de goncha. I might think dilach in the shut v'sloi. If two people own, you would be pater from Meiser because Rachmana Maser you say chem plural. Ela Meiser de goncha l'may asa l'mutei shutus David kechavim. Okay, let's stop here. The Gemara goes on and on.